Yo, what's up, guys? Yo, what's up, Steve? Yo, what's up, Mungus? I don't know what's up with these streams, but I'm really liking the Armored Core music these days. Or the soundtrack, I should say. Wait. An update is available? Oh. Okay, well. So we're gonna do that. Oh, not that. For update. Go to download. Okay, we're gonna wait a little bit. Should be fairly quick. You love Hot Pockets? Can't believe they actually fixed bow glitch. Yeah, from what I heard, they didn't. They fixed like the way to do it that that was basically found and showcased, but there's like other ways to do it now, so it doesn't actually change anything. Fucking first update we get after like a year, dude, doesn't change anything. Yo, what's up, Kenok? How you doing, man? Kenok, I'm gonna use the Hendax Bear Claw today. I want to try it in Invasion. I think it should be good. That's a setup that that I was suggested to use by Vale. He said it was a very strong setup and that he started using it because when he had to play against it, it was basically like he felt like he was forced to play with dueling shield. And so yeah. I actually tried it a few days ago and it was a very, very strong setup. I think it should be good in Invasions just because Bear Claw, I've played with it in Invasions before. Like, I've played Shield Bear Claw in Invasions, and it was already doing fantastic, like just Shield Bear Claw. And in Invasions, you don't really use the shield anyway. The shield is mostly like a 1v1 tool. Yo, Xorion, Orion, thank you so much for the gifted, man. Really appreciate that. Yo, what's up, Chirko? How you doing, bro? What can you do when you lose a 4-year relationship? Hey, man. There's really not much you can do, honestly. You'll have to live the emotions and see what you can do after that. You'll have to endure. You'll have to endure like a tough moment, but you have to go through it. How meta is the new setup? From the testing I did, it was pretty meta, Jane. I would say the bad matchups that it have are dueling shield, which is, you know, not really a surprise. I found sword lance to be pretty difficult to deal with. Probably Endure. Yeah, I haven't actually tried it against Endure, but I would assume that Endure would be pretty tough against it. It wasn't the worst versus TS, but TS is TS. Like it felt like a fairly even matchup versus TS. Maybe it has a little edge, but I'm not sure. It's hard to tell. But it's definitely meta in a sense that it will absolutely win most matchups in the game, you know? Like, it's not like, you know, like, it's not like you can just, like, pull out something that's, like, off meta and counter it, so to speak. You just had your eyes done. Getting the top skin layer removed is rough. Jesus Christ, Jericho. Are you the next fucking experiment? Yeah, Dogo, man. Honestly, like, there's really nothing that I can tell you that will change anything. But much love, my friend. Try to do your best, dude. Just live through it. That's all I can say. Like, there's no magic formula here. It's a treatment, that or you go blind. Chirico, no. You don't go blind. Don't do this. You need to watch my stream, man. You can't go blind. Jesus Christ, man. You guys have it rough. Let's hope at least today's stream can do a little bit at distracting from the reality. Bry invasion? Mongus, you motherfucker. So stupid. Did you see the recent IGN vid about Tarnished Edition performance? Probably not. What did they say about it? Need an audio description talking over the stream? You know, Jane, I think you'd be perfect for that. I think you'd probably bring a bit of humor too. Pressed R1, then he pressed R1 again. See, I knew you'd be great for it, Jane. He turns and it drops like 12 FPS in slow motion in the IGN vid. Holy shit, dude, that's crazy. While fighting the tutorial boss? Oof. Man, why did they even show up to this event with that? Like when the performance is bad like that, I think they should cancel it. Like, there's no point in showing up there. Watch it? Maybe later. Now I just want to invade. Oh, where are we? You don't really get to fight here. I feel like I'm fucking back in Nightreign. Like, this is like Nightreign area. Could be a church there. Put the ash there. Why is this setup always used by NPCs? That's a good question. Yo, fucking Cleve in the building. What's up, bro? Guys, you know what I'm excited for? Fucking Metal Gear Delta, dude. I know I'm definitely not gonna get that on anything else but my PC because the performance for it looked complete ass. But my 4090 will brute force through it, and I can't wait to play it. For invasions, though, I think I should use Shard of Alexander because I'm gonna need burst damage. Like, I don't know why I'd use the Swaddling Clot for invasion since I can already Estus. And before it stutters hard on a 50-90, I have a 40-90, so I'm good if it stutters on 50-90. I don't know if you guys seen the Gamescom event, the Japanese guy chicken sang on stage for 20 minutes. It was peak. No, I've not seen that. What is even chicken singing? Both damage tally or just one? Right now, this is what I'm rocking for invasions, but I'll adjust to see like what's best. Because I feel like when I'm invading, like really my way to kill is going to be the Ash, so I think I want Shard of Alexander when I'm invading. And then for the damage tally, I'm going with this one because if I want to swap the Great Bow, I don't need to swap a tally, but because my inventory is not set up for this, the Great Bow is pretty deep, so I'm not really sure how much I'll be swapping to it. So we'll see. Running attack tally is a top pick. Yeah, for sure, Ami, no doubt. It's definitely a top pick. I might switch to it for invasions, especially. For 1v1, though, Ami, I'll say that depending on the matchup you're facing, I think like Swaddling Clot and both multi-hits tally are most definitely gonna always proc. That I can guarantee that. And also that running tally becomes less effective the moment your opponent has enough poise to tank like 2 startup for this. Like after that, then your running attack is pretty mute. I mean, what a good game. Bro. I mean, I don't even know where the other guy is at this point. What am I getting stuck on? Oh. Apparently you can't roll through that. Felt like there was enough space, you know, behind that lever to go through it. Also, I felt like the elevator was down. I actually didn't see that it was... Or, sorry, I felt like the elevator was up. I didn't even see that I could go up on it. I don't think there's really nothing much I could have done there. It's so dark in those elevator DLC. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, dude. Like, I actually thought it was a hole, dude. Like, I didn't even realize that it was down, like, until he put it back up, like, after the invasion. Otherwise, I would have gone, like, straight up. I just didn't see it. Elden Ring invasions in a nutshell. I mean... Like, it doesn't matter, like, who you are and what you do. Like, you know, maybe if you have, like, a dragon build, you get a kill, like, on spawn. Like, as soon as you spawn, you get a one-shot. Yeah, sure, maybe that's winnable. Like, you can get lucky, but other than that, it's pretty pointless. Lantern is standard equipment. I love Lantern. I would use it, but no time to actually use it there. There you go. Thunder's stung off already. Let's boost our damage. Blue now. Okay, that actually breaks my thingy. Let's go cover. Some cover if we can. I'm gonna rebuff. Okay. Thank you, camera. Right, they're both like complete dog shit, but so is this game, so. They're so dog shit, honestly. Like if we separate any of them, like they're dead like instantly. Stupid lock on. Okay, blue is there. I'm dead. Got saved by the blue, can you imagine? I was out of healing, yeah. At that moment, I needed to wait for the, what's it called? I needed to wait for the guy to, refill my Estus. He got saved by the blue that's... that's, like, completely useless, usually. Yo, what the hell? He just lagged through my fucking... Holy shit. He's actually, like, surviving the fucking claw by lagging. Holy shit. He survived the Ash by not taking any damage. That's crazy. Like, he actually got comboed by the Ash and did not take the second hit. He just vanished. Fuck it, let's just... Bear claw, baby, let's go. Tuck your head down and you spam. You know, you can't do that with the new Elden Ring class. How many Ash did I do? One sec, let's actually count it. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Oh, you can. Even with 7 mine, you definitely can. Is there a class that has 7 mine? Wait, Clevy, where have you been, my man? Clevy, look up my recent vid about patch 1.16.1 or something. You're gonna see the new character stats. Oh, you know the new class? Okay, well, there it is. That's that. Would it still be the most optimal if you level mine a tiny bit? It depends on what you level up, right? Like, if you don't level... Oops. One sec, let me answer that after. This is so annoying. Thought he would push. Dude, these people are so annoying today. Like, they're all like super ass, but they're literally all licking each other like real bad. Alright, Ryan, reinforcement, let's go. Let's kill this guy. Like, I can't, like, ever finish one off. Like, they're always fucking licking each other's fucking asshole. Crazy. go, there you go. Please, let me poop on your forehead. Thank God. It felt much better. Dude, these invasions are aggravating, like, holy shit. Guys, it's not the set, like, this setup is actually, like, has the perfect tool to deal with these invasions. It's just, like, relentless pressure in a game where you can't, you know, you can't ever attack back, basically. You say it's not great, Vale, but, like, genuinely, like, aside from, like, maybe fucking double, Crusher, like, I don't really see what would be better in these sort of invasions. Like, aside from Sword Lance and Double Crusher, which, in my opinion, are probably the best invasion setups anyway. Like, aside from that, not really sure what would do better here. I'm thinking this. I was out of that. Yeah. The range on that bullshit. And the buff. Careful, we have a blue to deal with. This game is so fucking ass, dude. Shit's crazy. Fuck out of here. Bro. At least the new class has new greatsword. Though, I mean, I don't know why everyone is saying new class has new greatsword. It doesn't. It's a curved greatsword, man. It's not even a new greatsword. Like, even your at least is not even real. The Hollow Slayer greatsword, bro. We've seen that weapon already. The CGS, you think it is? Yeah, Banana, it is. It is new though. It's new, but it's a new CGS. Like, we've seen that weapon from other angles. Do we know which Ash? No, we don't. Do you actually believe Double Crusher are some of the best invasion weapons? Yeah, they are, because you can actually three-shot anyone. Like Double Crusher won't necessarily be the best in 1v1, but In invasions where it's very difficult to get kills quickly, like double bleed crusher are absolutely one of the better setups for that purpose. There's no doubt about that. It's not a meme or, you know, an exaggeration. Like people that only do duel underestimate how much damage matters when you invade. Like, damage is everything. Even setups that are mid and duel can be like some of the best in invasions, purely because there's way more opportunity to get some stupid hits that would otherwise never land in a 1v1 when you're invading. He jumped there. I feel like it's not even that bad in duels either. It has good hype armor. In duels, I think in duels, the problem with double crusher is that it's just so stat intensive that you start sacrificing a little too much in duel. Because, like, you know, you get really nice damage, but let's say in duel, if you let your opponent double bragger, then, you know, the double bragger will outweigh the downside of, like, having lesser armor. But the moment your double bragger drain off, like, even though you do a lot of damage, you're actually gonna take a lot of damage too. Yo, Johnny Mango, thank you so much for the resub for 10 months, dude. And Bootstrap, thank you so much for the bits, man. Really appreciate it, guys. Holy shit, Bootstrap, thank you so much for the gifted, man. Holy shit, dude. Really appreciate that. It's very kind of you, man. What's that? Is that the dagger? When you can infinitely run away, though, that's definitely gonna be like a much worse fight. I did not get hit by that. I was definitely out of range, but it is what it is. Man, no boundary duels are so brain dead. Like, he has zero spacing. All he's doing is run away the entire time. Pretty crazy. Like, I'm gonna be honest, like, if you look at my HP bar, it does not tell the story of the fight. Like, the guy did nothing. He did nothing but run away the whole fight. That's the only way he gets, like, so much damage out. Like, it's such a pointless and stupid idea to host 1v1 in places like this where there's no boundary. Like, you're just making yourself a worse player. Like, you're not even, you know... You might be thinking that it gives you a better chance at winning, but the more you fight there, the worse you become at this game. And, you know, turn and burn was one thing in Dark Souls 3, but at least in Dark Souls 3, you could take your time and, you know, outplay someone that would just run away, like, the whole game to turn and burn. You could do that. In this game, because the physic is on a timer, you can't do it like that anymore. Like, you're gonna have to push. The physic really is, like, the timed physic is a really terrible mechanic, honestly. Bro, so much forward momentum on that. They're probably down there. Wait. I'm gonna have to go on the other side. He doesn't have the poise. Okay, let's try this. Try this, and then there you go. Honestly, guys. Let's go the other way. From South needs to remember PvP exists. That's a good point. I agree with you. That's Mungus right there. What is he doing? Wait, we skipped them. Insane skip, dude. Oh my god, he skipped again. Skipped again. We're gonna leave him burn somewhere. I mean, he's probably gonna go back up, actually. Not that hard to survive. He tried to mash out of it. His game, dude. I wonder if they went back to where I came from. I think they did, actually. Wait, where are they? Guys, where are these? Where are these fuckers, man? I feel like they went somewhere, like, goofy. Go back up. Insane. Dude, there's another blue. This game's insane. Okay. Tried to do something there, but... I tried to like space his Stormhawk to like get my own claw paws in there. But it was actually a little harder to space than I thought. Nothing will ever stop the fact that they wasted an entire patch on Grafted. So true. The funny thing is, like, the Grafted glitch legitimately, like, didn't really change anything. Like, Grafted was not even, like... It was not even a good glitch. Because when you gave yourself those stats, you were basically the equivalent of, like, having fucking Divine Beast Head. That was basically, like, the same thing as having, like, Divine Beast Head. And you lose the ability to, like, use any talisman that increases your stats. So, like, at the end of the day, it was not even, like, a good thing to use. Like, maybe, like, if you were... I mean, even if you were twinking, like, technically, if you wanted to play optimal, it was better to go, like, Divine Beast and, like, have the ability to, like, you know, swap to, like, this tally and this one and, you know, do that sort of stuff. So that Grafted glitch was completely useless, really. All the Grafted glitch did was it let people have the beast head without having to sacrifice their fashion. That's really all it did. That's it. Like, you sacrifice the amount of points that was necessary to like, let's say, cast like one of the spells you needed to cast, or one of the weapon you wanted to use at some point. You had to invest a little bit in that, and then it was basically the equivalent of, like, having that helmet. You probably saw too many YouTube vids on it. Yeah, that's probably the case. Yeah, Green, it definitely looks like it. I haven't tried the two-handed method, but it definitely looks way more consistent. In this place, it's... Okay, you know what? That's not that bad. Let's just go through this. Let's... good fight. Okay, let's go in the junk at this guy. Oh my fucking god, dude. What a fucking fight. What an invasion. If both... Wait, there's a good question, though. Running, then turning and burning. If both of you lose your physic, then it shouldn't be a problem, or am I missing something? Well, the problem, Drake, is, like, let's say, for instance, like, the thing with the physic is... You know, the heal near death, right? The glowing part of your body, like the middle part, the tier, basically. This heals you 600 HP when you're at 20% or below. So what will happen is usually you'll get someone low to like, let's say, you know, you'll get them to like 10% of their HP, then their tier will kick in. It will heal them 600 HP. Then that 600 HP heal will get their heal back to like a little bit over half full HP, let's say. Like it will fill up their bar back to half. And so throughout this fight, your opponent maybe got you to like 30 or 40%. So when both of your tier run off, the remaining HP is, you have like 40% HP and your opponent has 50% HP. So even though you out-damage your opponent by like a good like 50 to 40%, like you did 50 to 40% more damage to him than he did to you, yet when the tier run off, or when the tier expires, you're left with a disadvantage even though you outplayed your opponent. Which makes no sense. It just skews the battle like completely. It makes absolutely zero sense. And so that's a big problem. And then if you start the fight where no one has tier, which, by the way, the quote-unquote competitive scene has tried to do that by like giving everyone 99 vigor and not use tier. You know, you can do that because it's more consistent. It makes sense to do that. The problem with that is that it still isn't like enough unless you're like on PC and you and everyone has the rune arc active that gives you even more HP. Like if you have even more HP, then you get like what is like a decent amount of health for the fight to last a decent amount of times. Because the problem with not using tier is that you don't want the fight to be dictated by like one sequence throughout the whole fight. Like for instance, if you were to play in the arena right now, you know, at round table, like if you were to play in the arena, you might lose to some people that you wouldn't otherwise lose to, just because the damage is so high. You know, you can get parried once maybe. Like there's a lot of things that can happen, and it's very easy to beat someone when their health bar is very small. So the fights are quicker, but there's less of a skill factor that comes into play there. Also, you get punished, but the game punish. Yeah, you basically, yeah, the thing that happens is you get punished for outplaying them if they're passive enough for long enough, so that the fight basically resets to a point where no one has their tier and their physic active, but you're left with whatever HP happened after the physic kicked in on either side. So it skews fight because of that. And same thing can happen. Let's say you can get someone, you can like get someone to like 20% HP, their tier kicks in, and then you get them down to like, let's say 10%. So they're like on a sliver of health, but they equip red and blue tier stone, and then they skip your tier by doing like one attack. And so like maybe your opponent hit you twice throughout the whole fucking fight. Maybe they hit you a grand total of 2 times, and you still lose the fight even though you might have hit them like 12 times, because you get your tier skip, you get hit by the blue and red tier stone and all the damage that comes from being low HP, and then you lose the fight because of that. It's very unfortunate, because that sort of stuff takes skills away from the game and introduces more of an RNG element that is quite frankly very abusable, and skews the result of what would be like normally in any skillful format. It would be a one-sided battle. You know, like when you hit your opponent, let's say 12 times, and your opponent hits you 3 times, there's no way the guy that hits you 3 times should win, right? And we're talking about like similar weapons. We're not talking about like, you know, asymmetric matchup where one guy has a CS, the other has a colossal. No, I'm talking about like similar matchup, similar damage. It's just that the damage gets pushed so high when you know, when you're on blue and red tier stone, and then that gets amplified by the physic as well, because the physic heals you near death, and when the physic gets off, you lose the secondary effect which everyone has. It's the 10% extra resistance. So when you have 10% less extra resistance, then the fights end up even quicker because you do 10% more damage across the board on top of that. So your 12 hits that you got on your opponent were during the time where your opponent had 10% extra HP or 10% extra resistance. Whereas, on the other hand, because the fight lasted so long, when your opponent decides to attack you back, they're on red and blue tier stone, and you don't have your 10% extra resistance. So you take so much more damage at that point. And you know, the red and blue tier stone get multiplied by the Twin Bird shield. And then usually when you're on red and blue tier stone, you can afford to have like some extra damage put in there. Like, you know, like maybe you're going to be using two-handed tally, maybe like even like spear tally or Shard of Alexander to just put everything in damage to make a comeback. You know, you could say like, oh, that's a smart play. Well, I mean, it's mostly like abusing the game's like poorly designed buff system. So that's why it's very difficult to take like any sort of 1v1 seriously, because very often the outcome is affected by stuff that's not even in your control. And it just skews fight terribly. And so like the only way, like if you're experienced at the game and you know what you're doing and you're aware of these things, the only thing you can do to prevent that is to kill your opponent quickly. And unfortunately, when you have arenas where the opponent can run infinitely, which is basically 99% of the game, you can't do that. I mean, that's always been the case. Like, it's not just this Souls game. Like, you cannot prevent someone from running away if they don't want to engage. Like, if your opponent decides to beeline across the map, you're not going to be able to stop them. It doesn't matter what you have for a chase down weapon, you can't prevent it. And so at the end of the day, you cannot really do anything against someone that wants to stall you unless you're in a closed small arena. If you're in a closed small arena, not like the arena that we have in this game, because that you can also run away forever, but maybe like something like what we play in usually, like Secluded Cell. I'll show you in a sec. Like usually we fight here because this spot is perfect for these situations, because you can't prevent someone from running away forever in an arena like that. I mean, we still have people that run away. Like I had a guy that, you know, started chugging and then ran away all the way over here, and then, you know, and then claim that he beat me because, you know, he chugged and then ran away from the arena. Like, you can still, like, lose that way, but, I mean, at that point, it's not really a duel anymore. But technically, like, if you have boundaries, like here, for instance, you cannot have your opponent, like, survive in this spot forever, because at some point, you're going to corner them, and when you corner them, it forces an exchange. Like, one of you is going to get a hit on your opponent. So that's what it comes down to. It's a good question, though. I'm glad you asked that, because, you know, it might not be, like, obvious at first glance, but it's a good question. I felt like I hit that. They were barely out of it. Again, dude. They're like surviving, like. Insane with the wall. Keep hitting the wall. Stops the ash. Could be a kill here. Yes. There you go. And Mortal, if you chase an enemy that runs away, it gives you a speed buff. You know, developers have always tried to, like, go around this fact, because it's not like a From Software problem. It's like basically like a an issue you'd get in any game. The only problem with like Souls game like implementing something like that is that this game is not just about 1v1. Like, if you're invading and you're getting chased down by multiple people, if the multiple people you're fighting have a speed buff, you know, it can't work because you're already at a disadvantage. So at the end of the day, it's always better to keep the status quo and have the game be in a way that everyone is on an equal playing field at the end of the day. Like, even if you have the number disadvantage, you should have access to the same amount of E-lings and resources that the host has, for instance. Like, the disadvantage of having, like, to fight 2v1, or, sorry, 1v2 or 1v3 is already enough so that you don't need to be, like, lower on HP or lower on Estus than the host. Like, that whole premise that you have, like, half the host FP or HP or stuff like that, that only made sense when From Software let hosts get invaded when they were by themselves, you know? Like in Dark Souls 3 or other Souls game, like as a solo host, you could get invaded by yourself. And so that made sense that in order to balance it out, give the host like much more of a fighting chance, you give them a statistical advantage. But in this game, they cannot get invaded solo. So you don't need that statistical disadvantage. The game already treats these situations where the invader is always at a disadvantage because you can only invade when you have the numbers disadvantage. So that's just unnecessary to add on top of that. And also the fact that you cannot get a teammate in this game. So that really, I think, is just a testament of, like, you know, From Software does not really invade in their own game. And if they do, it's like, you know, a very minimum amount to like playtest basic mechanics, you know what I mean? Like, if you had anyone that would like play the game to its fullest, the PvP and everything, like they'd realize like a lot of the stuff they're doing are counterintuitive to what would make sense in this sort of setting. And you know, it's not the first time I talk about this sort of stuff. I always come out as like, oh, you know, you're just complaining and that sort of stuff. Well, you know, it is what it is. I'm just being honest. Like I've played games where I had very little issues in general. In fact, I've played a From Software game where I felt like the PvP was one of the best and most competitive I've ever seen in like any game. When I played Armored Core Verdict Day, I really felt like it could have been an esports game. That's how good and skillful it was. And I really didn't have like any complaints about anything. I just enjoyed the game from the moment it was released to the point where the game died out because the activity eventually died. You know, I played through the entire game's like activity life cycle and I loved it. It's just that when I look at a game like Elden Ring, I could see it being the same as the experience I got with Armored Core Verdict Day. Because I know it's possible, you know, if they fix all the things we talk about, like, we're gonna get there at a point where the PvP activity is gonna bloom and it's gonna push the PvP community forward. In fact, Dark Souls 3 was doing a lot of good things in that front, far from perfect and had a lot of issues itself, but it was good enough so that it developed an entire community around the PvP, and that community mostly, like, transferred over to this game. Whereas in this game, it's more popular, yet the PvP community is smaller than in Dark Souls 3. So you can already tell there that we've taken step backs with Elden Ring. What people don't understand is that if you never complain, there's zero chance you get any changes in the future. Yeah. And it's not necessarily me complaining that's going to change anything, but if I talk about these issues on stream right now, and you get, like, people watching, then these ideas get shared in, like, every viewer's head, and no matter who it is, you're gonna see the... Oh my god, dude. We got cancelled, like, by hitting the wall. One sec. There you go. All right. That's what I love about Bear Claws, man. You can just tank everything with Bull Goat. You can just stand there and tank the Colossal, you know, tank all of it. It's a very useful tool when you invade. Forgot what we were talking about. I got distracted. You think FromSoft learned a thing or two making Nightreign? I don't think so, man. I feel like don't get me wrong. I was very negative about Nightreign. I think the network test was pretty mid. Because the night boss was pretty mid too, honestly. But, you know, playing Nightreign afterward myself, it was a lot of fun. Only issue I have with the game is too little content too late. So at the end of the day, it was too little for a game. But usually that's a good thing. That means you want more, so that's not a bad thing. However, there's nothing that Nightreign does that's positive for PvP. Like, in fact, like the mechanics that are in place in Nightreign are a downgrade to what Elden Ring does. The only reason why Nightreign is fun is the format. The format for this sort of game mode is a very positive thing. But in terms of mechanic, Nightreign is a straight-up downgrade from, like, Elden Ring. It's way less tactical, you know, way less deliberate. I mean, the fact that any scrub can beat, like, a sequence of bosses, like, one after the other, is not necessarily because they got better from Elden Ring to Nightreign. It's because Nightreign lets you trivialize a lot of boss fights. With the sprinting, with the very generous dodging. It just gives you a tool to trivialize base mechanics. So yes, I liked Nightreign. But don't get it wrong, what makes Nightreign fun is the format, not the mechanics themselves. Nightreign would be even better if it was more deliberate with its game mechanics. And what I mean by that is, you know, you take away like the super sprint, the super dodge, all that stuff. You change the map to account for that, because obviously you can't like remove the sprint. And like, you know, you can't remove the sprint and have the map stay the same. Like, that will be a problem. And I mean, that's the reason why they introduced the sprint. Like, they were very aware that it was necessary in order to reuse the Elden Ring map. Alright, let's see here. Oh, I felt like I hit that. Nightreign is best in solo experience, in your opinion? I know you're not the only one who thinks that. Personally, I played Nightreign. I did 2 games solo in Nightreign. You know, beat the night bosses for both times. I did not enjoy myself, even though like I was successful on both my runs. Like, the moment where I enjoyed myself the most playing Nightreign was when I played with Cleve, when I played with Canuck, when I played with Hackrish. That's when I really enjoyed myself. And I enjoyed myself the most, I believe, when the game came out, or when they first got like some of the first few times we fought the bosses were amazing because we didn't know like what to expect. And so the first time you fight these bosses is really nice. And even more so when the game released, because no one is really familiar with all the meta strats. Like now, like, because the game is so repetitive, like everyone knows exactly what to do. And it's not very difficult anymore. By the way, guys, I've not played like any of the new like Everdark boss. I kind of stopped playing when they started rotating them. But I honestly, I really doubt that it would be like very difficult with the type of squad we had. Like so far, I think we first tried every Everdark boss that we fought. I don't see why that would be different. The fingerprint is going to be an issue. And spells as well. Wow. I think we want this here. Okay. We're gonna have to focus on the caster. There you go. Nice. Is this the heavy knight waiting room? You got it. I really like the Nightreign exclusive bosses though. Like, you know, I think the best part about Nightreign is the night bosses. I think the bosses you fight in that game are so much fun, and that's definitely one of the highlights for this game, for me at least. I really enjoyed all the bosses for sure. So much so that I wish there was more. But that's always like, you know, easy to criticize, like wanting more. That's usually a good thing. Because that's a lot of work, you know, like wanting a few balance tweaks here and there, that's on the dev to do that, because these are easy fixes that really only require them to understand their own game, whereas making new bosses is a lot of work. It's a lot of difficult work that's very difficult to get right as well. Like, it's not easy to make a good boss. Hoping Nightreign DLC releases new one. Oh, for sure, dude. For sure, for sure. Don't worry about that. They're for sure gonna release a DLC with new classes, new bosses. What I hope they're gonna have in that DLC is another map. If they have another map, that'd be great. And also, I hope they drop that stupid rotation bullshit. Like, let people fucking fight the boss by pressing, like, randomize. So that they get, like, the bosses at random instead of only being able to fight, like, one for each week. Like, that just hurts the game. Like, that's what made me stop playing it. I was tired of fighting the same stuff. And then when they started re-rotating it, I said, like, alright, I'm out. It's the same fucking thing over and over. I think that was a stupid decision. It was like trying to emulate what the live service games do with like events. But that's not what they have. Like, that's not a live service games, and these are not events. They're like for content. The game doesn't have anything else. Like, you know, it's when you have events, it's usually a side activity. Like, this is the only thing you can do in this game. It's fight those bosses. You're not a fan of rotations, you were hoping they'd keep it as a whole list. Yeah, same here, because what I like to do when I play Nightreign is just put all the bosses, you know, as random, so that when you fight, you can't, like, over-prepare for one boss. That you have to, like, prepare for everything. Otherwise, it's a little too easy to, like, you know, like, prepare in advance for, like, one specific boss where you have, like, the whole strategy, all the relics that are perfect for it, all that stuff. More fun if you don't know, like, which journey you're gonna be on. That's just me, though. Also, to be completely honest with you guys, I'm a little surprised at how long it takes them to, like, really make anything for Nightreign, given how, like, at the end of the day, like, Nightreign is really, like, recycled content the game. Like, how long can it take to make, like, introduce basic things? Like, you know, like, they're releasing a DLC for Nightreign that's basically gonna introduce, like, Elden Ring DLC weapons. Like, they're not even creating, like, half the weapons that they're gonna introduce in that DLC. It's all gonna be recycled stuff. Like, how long are they gonna take to reintroduce stuff that's already created? I feel like they're very slow. Like, I understand that FromSoft is not, like, working on this, like, with the whole squad and everything, but still, it shouldn't be that long, dude. It's a small company, bro. Go easy on them. I know they're not small anymore, but they definitely have a smaller team working on this, for sure. Hate my input there. That comboed, and I did all my help. That stupid debuff too, like, shit should have never been in the game. Also, I'm gonna be honest with you guys, I know, like, you know, PvEers like to think that, you know, a ranked mode makes sense for these sort of games, but man, Nightreign is as casual of a game as it gets. I'm not really sure it makes sense to have a ranked mode in that. Like, it's not hard enough. It needed to be, like, you know, if the bosses had, like, twice the health and did, like, twice the damage, which I think that's what they're doing, maybe it's gonna make sense, but... And, like, as it stands right now, like, the game was too easy for a ranked mode, I think. But, I mean... It seems like they understand that, and I think from what I heard, that's what they're doing for the ranked mode. Like, they're giving, like, enemies more health, making them do more damage. I think they're already, yeah. Nope. We're doing that for nothing. I'm not even sure if we're... Maybe we landed like one. We can go up here. Yeah, we can. Try that. I don't think that's gonna reach. On host, get closer. This dude is staying like super far. Okay, he's dead. Well, we did our best. I'm reduced to a stage hazard? True. You know what would be sick for Souls game that's not in the cards? If they actually cared about the arena mode. Like, there's so much potential for, like, arena mode to be, like, so much more fun. Like, just imagine for a second if, like, you got unique rewards for, like, doing arena fights, and that you could, like, redeem those rewards in an in-game shop, and, like, use that to build your character. Like, buying new weapons, unique stuff, like weapon skins, armor skins, you name it. And when I say weapon skins, armor skins, I don't mean, like, fluorescent green or fluorescent pink. I mean, like, you know, like a silver, you know, silver like metal for your weapon, or like a black metal, you know, stuff like that. Like, you know, like make the tip of your hand axe be like gold or something, you know, like simple stuff that really takes like a few minutes to do when you're developing this. And that Dark Souls 2 shiny aura is not enough. Like, that shit is like very little. But like when you like, let's say you also introduce like more maps for 2v2s, more interesting stuff, like you get the help to be like bigger for the arena so that the fights are a little more, have a little more substance. You know, you make the arena like a good rectangle size for 1v1. There's a lot of little things they could do to make it like such a good experience. Have it be so that you can team up with your buddy to fight against like other teams, and reduce the amount of modes that are available so that people can only do either duels or 2v2. Because as we're seeing right now, those are the only 2 modes left that people actually play. You know, the whole like Pokemon thing with Spirit Ash, it's fun for noobs when the game comes out, but it has no longevity. No one cares about that. Oh wow, he clipped me. Wow, I thought the backswing would land there. Oh, in sync with it. Steal the den maps? No hate, but From Software's, you know, a little better at making maps than what Den has. It's just that the Den maps are more intelligently made. But like on an artistic side, you know, they're still not on, you know, on a level the From Software artists are working. Like, to be honest here, they're not bad, but they still look like modded, you know. This is, you know, also my field. Like, I'm a little more critical on that front, because when it comes to like that sort of artistic stuff, I actually know a little more than your average average Joe, let's say. But there's a big difference there. People who make den maps are not getting paid to make den maps. Maybe if they were getting paid, the maps would be better. You see what I mean? You know, they would be able to spend more time and resources on it to like make it even better. So I can't forget that. I think we need to go here. Good players like small ones. Yeah, I mean, when it comes to like the size of the map, the way they're designed, like laid out, it's a no contest. Like, of course, the den maps are gonna be better. FromSoft doesn't even have any maps that are made for what the den map does. Just steal and retexture them. It's not about retexturing. It's more about you know, right placement of stuff for it to make sense and not look like out of place, like a modder made it. You know, that's what like a level designer does, basically. Like, that's a job on its own. Like I said, no dig at anyone here. Like, level designer is a very skillful job. It's a very niche and specialized job, but it's a very difficult one. Like, people think they can improvise themselves and shit. I wonder if we can fucking Skyrim horse our way through this. No, we can't. Alright, let's try to respawn. Yeah, Lord of the Fallen has too many, like... Yeah, too many issues with the online. Like, the thing with Lord of the Fallen is, like, it's hard... It was hard to tell if what they were doing made sense or not. a lot of times because the backbone for the online was just so bad that it made the game unplayable no matter how you put it. So balancing anything felt pointless, and we didn't want them to waste their time on listening to us balancing like most stuff. The only thing that we asked them to do like strongly was to reduce the roll distance, because that was quite obviously a bad idea. And as much as I'm like happy that they listened, he early hit that, I would say I'm very disappointed at how long it took them to realize that. Like it took a lot of discussion to basically do basic things. And these guys have really bad net. Both of them. The blue's probably going to be a safer bet to kill first. Do that. So the problem is the Phantom is so laggy that we can't really hit him. Like, we can't actually kill him. So we're going to be forced to, like, go for the host. And the host seems like he's also has, like, pretty shit net. So, quite frankly, I think I'm going to ditch this one. Because I'm going to need poison to kill both of these guys. Because their net is just dog shit. So what I'm gonna do is just do the boring TS, and that's just unplayable. Off stock parry god. Yeah, on that lat. It's basically like a randomizer. Don't get me wrong, I think the setup I'm using with Bear Claw and Axe is very strong. But when their connection is that bad like that, like it doesn't actually matter what you're using. You're basically going to be forced to like poison them. Or get lucky, or like, you know. Like, TS is just the only logical play there, I think. This. Instead of the core community, it's just a niche that doesn't generate any profits. See, I don't like this because that's, you know, like the reason why I don't like this is that's because it's clueless. Like you know, I'm not saying that for you to say that it's fine, but like for them to think that, it would be very clueless. You know how like a lot of low IQ executives, especially at Sony, for instance, they chase that second coming of Fortnite. They chase that online PvP multiplayer game that generates like tons of revenue. Like nearly all the big executive for video games companies chase that, and they always all fail miserably. Why is that? Because they don't really understand what they're making in the first place. They just think like, oh, multiplayer game, big money. They're right on like one thing. that multiplayer has way more potential for longevity. The thing with FromSoft is that FromSoft has all the ingredient for them to realize something like this. That's the thing. But they don't have the... They don't realize it. They don't realize it. Like, the reason why you don't see, like, a lot of, like, casuals playing Elden Ring PvP, it's because they actually tried it when the game launched, and they didn't like it. The way FromSoft introduces PvP to these people is not the right one. Like, when you get, like, a noob that just started playing the game, you get them invaded, ruin their playthrough, get killed. That's not how you foster... Or that's not how you get them to like PvP and play PvP forever. On top of that, if you add like some shitty balance, mechanics that they don't understand, because quite frankly the game is so inconsistent that no one that ever plays like any other online games like a Call of Duty or anything else casually would really appreciate what Elden Ring does, because it does it very poorly. So like, if you add all of these factors, Elden Ring is set for failure when it comes to the online. And that's not because it doesn't have the potential, or like PC shitnet at launch, like completely unplayable. It's like you cannot expect PvP to ever be popular if you're gonna treat it that way. Problem is, it's not just like that. It's not just because the PvP has no potential, because the PvP has insane potential. It's just that they never gave it the thought and love that it should have had in the first place. You know, you want to get players to be introduced to the PvP in a positive manner, you know, playing against people of like similar skill level than them. Like, you want noobs to fight noobs and and have tryhards fight tryhards. And then like people get rewarded for their achievements. And like, there's a whole structure that you need to respect there in order to bring people in. And on top of that, you need to have the balance make sense. You need to have like replayability have an incentive. Like, there's many different ways to go about it, but that's just not the way to do it, man. And the whole argument of like they're catering to their core audience, it's true that FromSoft is making everything for the single player audience and for the more casual player base that I've never played a Souls game before, but they tried Elden Ring and they loved it. Because, quite frankly, all the other games out there are so bad that Elden Ring is a beacon of light in comparison. But that's only true because they never actually gave the proper love and care to the PvP. That's all there is to it. It's not like the PvP has no potential. It has insanely high potential. It has the potential that all these low IQ executives dream of. That insane like Fortnite blockbuster like title where like big money can be made. Like, FromSoft has that in them with their core systems. It's just they don't understand what they have on their hand. That's all there is to it. So the whole argument that, you know, it makes no sense for them to push the PvP is just completely false. That's just because they don't like, if your argument is that because they don't understand it, then you'd be right. But at the end of the day, like, if you give FromSoft the knowledge or insight of like someone that actually understands these mechanics and understand what they have on their hand, and they follow through with it, you'd probably have like one of the top like PvP game of like a generation. Like, easily, very easily. It's just that it needs to have the proper love, care, time, and development. It can't just be like, you know, the same invasion system that we've always had, you know, with the same mechanics we've always had. It's like you take the core component, you know, the spacing, the timing, you know, the character building, the RPG elements, the single player be standalone in its own thing so that it introduces people, or sorry, it, you know, it gives a chance for the game to grab people that normally only play single player game and give them something they didn't know they wanted to play, basically. Because right now all this game does is like it proves to Redditor that PvP is bad, and they're not even wrong for it. They're not wrong for it because it is bad. What about Duskblood? I feel like Duskblood is like the wrong way to go about it, because first of all, no one asked for Duskblood. Like, the way you go about this whole PvP thing, like successful From Software PvP, is not to make a game that no one ever asked for. It's to make a game that everyone asked for, and have the PvP in it, but not forced upon the players, but just nudge them into trying it out, and have them stay because they actually enjoy it. That's how you get it. Not by fucking making an exclusive game that no one's... on an exclusive platform that no one ever cared about. It's just so bad. Bro, went above him. Yeah, on gun, like something like that. Like, and even then, like, see, like, I would never force people that don't want to PvP to PvP. Like, that's one thing that From Software keeps doing over and over, and it does not serve anyone. Like, people hate the PvP because they're forced to play it. And keep that in mind. Like, these people that are forced to play it will never get into it because they hated their experience. Whereas, if you reverse the script and you never force them to play it, but then once they get comfortable with the game, you give them an opportunity to try it with all the odds in their favor, you're actually gonna get them to enjoy it. That's the thing. Like, the PvP here is forced upon players too early, where there's really only a subset of people that will have, like, the mental fortitude to endure all the bullshit and appreciate, like, the tiny little ray of good that there is in the PvP, like at an early stage. Like, if you take someone that has never played these games and for the first time they get invaded by a tryhard that just destroys them, like, you know, it doesn't matter who you are, it's not gonna be a fun experience. That's not anyone's fault either. That's not the tryhard's fault. That's not the new player's fault. That's the developer that created this situation. And it's that sort of, like, you know, they like that twisted mentality of, like, having the player, like, try to overcome impossible challenges and stuff like that. It's just that if you want to foster a successful PvP, that's just not the way to do it, man. It's not the way to approach it. It's just how it is. Like, you need to give people time to learn the game, time to enjoy it, time to get interested and curious about the PvP, and when they actually do try it, give them a chance by making them play with people that are on a similar playing field as them, because it does not make sense for a guy who just picked up the game to be matched with me that has played these games for fucking thousands of hours, won tournaments in fucking nearly all the games I've played, and, like, I'm sitting here, like, destroying them in, like, 5 seconds, where they legitimately don't really have a chance. It doesn't really make sense to create that situation. And I say that the invasion setting tries to address that by stacking the odds, like, completely lopsided, but that doesn't serve anyone because they won't learn to appreciate it or anything. It's just gonna become a a battle of gimmicks where there's nothing to learn or appreciate about these battles because it doesn't feel rewarding for either side, because either you stomp an invader by just spamming stuff where the game mechanically has no counterplay to it, and then for the invader, like, you just killed players that don't know what the fuck they're doing. Like, for both sides, there's no rewarding feeling at the end of it. It's just not the good way to do it, man. By the way, I missed some some resubs and shit. MD, thank you so much for the resub for half a year, man. Welcome back, dude. Really appreciate that. And Organ, thanks for the resub for 35 fucking months, bro. Let's fucking go, man. You know, I think it's important also to have that discussion. I know, you know, I'm always pictured as this guy who's always complaining and all that stuff. I get it. You know, it's fine, whatever. I'll take the crown, but I think these dialogues are important. Not because I like hearing myself, but I think it's important to like have more people internalize and understand that concept so that eventually it reaches more and more ear and you get more people that are on boat with these ideas. Because I'm definitely of the mind that my favorite games are games where you can do like both PvP and PvE and they're independent of each other. You don't need to be forced into one another. And they work together in giving like you like different experiences. And both are fun. That's what I'm always about. You know, my favorite game of all time, Rainbow Six Vegas 2, had a single-player mode campaign, single-player mode terrorist hunt, co-op campaign, same campaign, but you could play it with a buddy. And in the first Vegas game, you could play it with 3 buddies. And then you could do terrorist hunt with 3 other players, very challenging, in a very challenging manner too, if you had like some of the harder maps on the highest difficulty. And then you also had the opportunity to play online and do some PvP, so that one game that's, you know, came out in like 2008 for Rainbow Six Vegas 2 and like 2006 for Rainbow Six Vegas 1. These games that are so old, 20 years old game basically. How is it that games so old had so much content and value and gave players the opportunity to do so much while never stepping on the boundaries of the people who play PvP or the people who play PvE? Because they gave you the freedom to do what you wanted with the game. And games are missing that now. I think games are missing the point of that. I ate my input. I wanted to do the Ash. I'm here. Let me bear claw you. What's your favorite top 5 weapons? I think that's one thing Elden Ring does right. Like, it has a lot of very interesting weapons, honestly. A lot of viable weapons. It's hard for me to give you an answer because I actually like a lot of weapons in this game. But I think on top of my mind, the weapon that I think it would be hard for me to give you like my favorite weapons, because unlike, let's say, Dark Souls 3, where I really favored one weapon over the next, I really like experimenting with different weapons in this game. And usually, if I was to gravitate towards something, I think usually like what I gravitate to are like TS, Milady, Shamshir, like the very strong stuff, or like two-handed lance, or maybe even sight. But I don't think TS is like one of my favorite weapon. I think two-handed lance and power stance great lance are probably my favorite setup. But like in terms of like most fun, sight is a lot of fun to play with. Like right now I'm having a ton of fun with this bear claw. Like I actually really like playing with this bear claw. It's a lot of fun. But like when I look at my inventory, like, you know, like sword lance would be like a de facto weapon that I would gravitate toward, but it's not particularly fun to play with. Great swords are brain dead, not that fun. Freya, pretty brain dead, but I like it. The axes were fun, but still a little too limited in the moveset. You know, Kestus used to be like my favorite weapon at some point, but they nerfed it. I actually really like Colossals. I think they're a lot of fun. You know, I think my favorite weapon is Golem Greatbow. That would be my number 1. Then number 2, I would probably put Great Lance. And then number 3, let's say sight. Maybe number 4, maybe Milady and light great swords. And then number 5, let's say Halberd and Dax. Why not? I think I really like the way Halberd and Dax plays, but it could be a lot of things, honestly. No, it's not green. It's not your favorite. Stop lying to yourself. It's your main weapon, just like me, but it's not your favorite. Trust me. You use sight all the time? Yeah, sight. I think I put sight like 3rd here. I think that's a good spot for sight. Definitely sight is one of my favorite weapon, because the thing with sight is it has all the tools for like most situations, and it's very rewarding to play. Has a lot of potential, can do a lot of things right. Like, you know, with a sight you can roll catch someone that's like light rolling, for instance, because it has enough forward momentum to do it. You can keep priority with the sight with staggered R1s because it has enough of a stun. You can roll catch with the sight with the crouch attack, and you can also mix it up with the with an Ash. And also it's not overpowered because it's like a fairly consistent weapon to backstab if you know how to do it. And so at the end of the day, sight is a very nice weapon that sits in a good spot. It has a winning matchup against stuff like Sham. Yeah, one thing that's pretty gimmicky though is definitely the way its super armor works. Like in the grand scheme of things, it's not the biggest issue in Elden Ring, because Elden Ring has that issue with pretty much everything, and it only has that sort of crazy matchup against stuff that are usually stronger, so not the biggest deal. But I'm not a big fan of hyper armor in this game. I think I like hyper armor as a concept, but only if done right. And in this game, hyper armor is just too hard to break and starts too quickly, unfortunately. It starts way too early, yeah. And also, like, for instance, guys, if you're playing with a greatsword against another greatsword, like greatsword versus greatsword, let's say, it does not make sense for you to be able to tank the other greatsword R1. It makes the matchup between the two weapons much worse, much less skillful, much less, you know, really anything. It makes everything worse about the matchup. So there's no reason to have it so that mirror matches between hyper armor weapons don't stun each other all the time. So that's another thing. I think it makes sense to have your great sword tank the curved sword and the smaller weapons that are underneath it. I think that is pretty much understood by anyone. But if you wanted to have the best experience possible, your great sword should always break the other great sword so that spacing still matters in a great sword mirror. You don't have to fish to only go for R2s, because that makes the fight like not make as much sense, really. You know, that's one thing. And also, this whole hyper armor problem obviously amplified by the fact that you have hyper armor attacks that start at like frame 6, you know, with the R2. That makes it so that you can just reaction trade and attack out of stun and reverse pressure. That has always been a problem with this game. That's why Storm Stomp was such an issue like early on in the game. You know, they fixed it, but they reintroduced the same problem in other forms. It's just unfortunate. Like, this game does not reward you properly for getting the first hit on your opponent. Doesn't let you keep the pressure going afterwards. Because that's what it should be. Games like this should prioritize pressure and reward you for getting the first hit on your opposition. Rack is a bit of an abomination, yeah. Like, Rack is basically that problem multiplied. Because with Rack, you can tank stuff like Colossals. It just completely skews the whole thing. I don't even think he got that on purpose. That's actually so lucky by him. Yo, MD, thank you so much for that, man. Really appreciate it, man. Oh fuck, we're out of these. They're worth it. We lost a lot of health, but I'm gonna be honest, I really want to kill that blue. Yes, Kevin! Kevin, you did your part. I am grateful. Thank you so much, Kevin. There you go. Yo, MD, thank you so much. Holy shit, it's 50 gifted subs, man. Jesus Christ, dude. Thank you so much, dude. Holy shit. Man, I'm so grateful for that, dude. Seriously. Thank you so much, man. Holy shit, 50 gifted subs. That's so kind of you, man. Thank you so much. How would you balance TS? You know, there's actually a lot of ways you can balance Thrusting Sword. I think the first thing that's problematic about Thrusting Sword is the damage it does for how good the attack is. Like, the way I would balance Thrusting Sword, or let's just say I would remove, like, I would remove the fact that that you don't stun on the second hit for every weapon in the game. I would make it so that every weapon in the game stun on the second hit. That's what I would do, you know, for TS as well. But I would heavily, and I mean heavily, reduce the amount of damage that stupid Thrusting Sword does, man. And also, like, remove the... Like, you cannot have every weapon have, like, every Ash either. Like, I would definitely remove the ability to have, like, let's say BHS and Quick Step, or, like, you know, all these iframes, Ash of War, to, like, cancel the recovery. Like, I'd nerf the recovery for the weapon. I would nerf the fucking damage of the weapon. I would give it a stun on the second hit. And I would do that for pretty much nearly every weapon, man. And to be honest, I would also not mind if you had weapons like daggers and trusting sword, not stun on the first hit like it was before, because those weapons are fast enough to warrant it. Wait, someone else spawned in. The Grace, probably. Kevin is waiting to moonveil me. We're gonna need some cover for this. Insane jump. I think that was a good fight. We played well there. Maybe make DHS not initiate a crouch attack. That's an interesting way to go about it. But again, guys, you know, like, let's say, for instance, you wanted to nerf, like, X or Y weapon in the most blunt way and stupid way possible. Technically, there's many ways to nerf, like, a weapon, you know. If you reduce the speed of a weapon, right away, like, you nerf it to the ground. If you reduce the damage of a weapon, you reduce how effective it is gradually until a point where the weapon doesn't perform as well anymore because it doesn't outtrade X or Y. So there's many ways to go about balancing something. And quite frankly, like, let's say if you reduce the speed of the TS, you'd probably kill it right away. If you reduce the damage of the TS, you could reduce it to a point where it wouldn't be as strong anymore either just by doing that. But I think the right way to go about it would be, like, just like I would do for every weapon, you know, it's to revise, like, the recovery that it has, you know, make the weapon still be, like, good enough to a point where it's usable. Have it so that it can pressure too, but not, like, to a point where it makes other weapons useless. And you do that across the board by, like, tuning the damage for how fast the attack is. You let the weapon, like, have priority once it gets the first hit. And you don't, like, get the weapon to have, like, no recovery. That's kind of like a base thing you do for everything. Like, that's the proper way to do it. Now, after that, you can have weapons be, like, a little special and, you know, have some different qualities to them. Like, maybe, like, you want Twin Blade to still stun on, like, the, you know, for like, half hits for the first part and stuff like that. Like, maybe you still want that because it makes for interesting gameplay or whatever. But you don't want to have it so that you do, like, you know, a third of your opponent's health bar if they have the right build with the Twin Blade. Come to Den 2? Wait, what's Den 2, dude? What is Den 1? What is Den 1 if there's Den 2? And by the way, you know, talking about this game, I still don't think this game is ever going to get anywhere competitively. Like, I don't think I'll ever bring it to myself to, like, care about the PvP. So you're likely not going to see me on Den. But I'm very curious about Den 3, though. Like, what's the difference? The real end game is Den 4? Maybe you're onto something. It's seamless co-op, but more vanilla? That's interesting. PC has 4 separated launcher and player bases? Yeah, I bet. Vanilla seamless, then 1 and 2? That's bad, man. That's bad. You know, separating the player base is one thing that from software games do poorly. Like, the whole, like, leveling system, matching players with, like, players of only, like, similar bracket, and then, like, if you match players of different brackets, then the whole balance falls apart. Like, this whole thing is just, it needs to be revised, man. Like, you know, then 1, 2, 3, 4 aside, like, ideally you'd have this game have, like, a level cap at either, like, you know, 150, 100, 200, but not above that, so that at a certain point you can't level up more than the max level, and you incentivize players to play at that level so that you regroup the player base at that level, but you still have build making, you know? Because technically you could say that for the game right now, like, the game, like, gets players above 300 all together, but to be fair, there's no point to be at 300, because the moment you're at 300, you get matched with level 800 or 700 or whatever. And at that point, you have 99 in every stat, so build making doesn't exist. So even though the game wants you to be there, it cuts away a fun part about these games, which is character building, making your build unique, making your build specialize in something, creating something original, being clever about your stat allocation. None of that really exists once you reach 99 and everything, and quite frankly, a little before that too. I think there's no argument to be made that builds exist after 200. I draw the line in the sand at 200, but you could easily draw it at like 150, for instance. That you could have an argument for it. I just don't think that anyone would ever have an argument like above 200 that builds still exist after 200, because at 200 there is no build in existence that you can't make. At 200, no matter what you want your character to be, you can make it at level 200. So there's no point for the game to go above 200, segment the player base, and take away your ability to create interesting builds if you dare to go past that level. And a lot of players actually regret leveling too far sometimes, because they want to enjoy the PvP. They realize that it's not necessarily as fun to go as high, because then it becomes a spam fest and there's not you know, as many like interesting fights at the higher levels. See, you say that, Green, but I know for a fact that you would enjoy this way more, like way more, if you had like a much larger player base playing at one level, and if you had like the game be balanced more around like that specific level. Like, it would just make it better for both PvE and PvP. It would outweigh like the quote-unquote fun you say you're having, and a lot of people would probably say that, but it's like that Steve Jobs quote where like Steve Jobs knew what people wanted, but people didn't know they wanted like some fucking Apple stuff, right? It's basically what it is. By the way, I hate Apple. I think it's a terrible brand now, but that's besides the point. Point being is people don't know they would enjoy that 200 cap way more than they enjoy the game right now, basically. Yeah, Chirico, I can agree with that. But I don't think it's just ego, though. Like, Apple legitimately has a value proposition, because it doesn't matter in which field you work in. Maybe you don't have the time to learn, like, hardware to the extent that some of us nerds have the time to learn it. Like, you know, like learning how to operate a PC to the fullest might not be the most complicated thing for you, but for someone who spends their day like working like very hard and time-consuming jobs. Maybe they don't want to spend the time to learn that when they come back home. So maybe it makes sense to them to have something a little simpler with a better interface, that sort of stuff. So I'm not trying to like make it seem like it's worse in everywhere or anything like that. But I mean, you are wasting money for the brand though, that's for sure. You are definitely wasting money, that's for sure. $900 phone is something else. I mean, you're not gonna argue with me about that. Fully agree there. All right, T Wolf. Good fight, T Wolf. They're blue in there, but he's too far. Oh, I mean, maybe it won't be in a second. Dude, I thought this guy's name was fucking something devious, man. Blue just died, like, I don't know how. Also, don't try to get your Apple product repaired. Yeah, this whole, like, no repair thing is... You know? It's just... I don't want to get into that, but... Like, right to repair is part of what should be, like, part of your freedom, really, but... That's a whole nother discussion. That's not the world we live in. Pay your taxes and shut the fuck up. Uh-oh, it's the finger area. Your guys' favorite. My favorite too. Let's see here. Need to continue your run on PS5, Elden Ring on PC is insufferable. Wait for the new Tarnished edition, man, because you're going to get a new starting class. And you're going to have to start all over again if you start right now. Unless maybe... Actually, I don't even know. I don't even know if... I was about to say, unless you're making like some sort of mage build, but... This fucking guy back there stunned me. Oh, they keep saving each other by spamming shit. Again. I can't pressure the guy further because he keeps getting saved by his teammate. Uh-oh.
Wow, that should have landed. This other guy at. Here. Fuck out of here. When you're the invader, Jane, like, there's just too many ways that you can die so quickly in this game, and when there's multiple people spamming at you, like, you need the poise to withstand, like, multiple attacks. Like, there's way more spam in this game, like, way, way more. Like, as the invader, you need to be able to not get stunned by some of the lighter stuff. For the gankers, though, it makes way more sense to light roll because that prevents them from getting shit on. Oh my god, dude. Stupid ass shit players. I mean, we can't ever attack because of this stupid mage. Like, you look at the holes there, right? Like, you'd think it would do him any favor to mid-roll? Like, he'd get shitted on, like, he would be already dead right now. Like, he only basically survived because he's light rolling. Yo, shit in that. Okay. I think he might be low on FP. Could be a DS. Yes! Not dead though, is he? Fuck out of here, you shit player. Ooh, that one was satisfying. Didn't mean to do that. No, the play here is to wait for them on this side, but I'm thinking that it might be more fun to engage back there. Push. The swords on top of his head are desync. They have zero clue what they're doing. It's hard to predict. Oh, and just okay, dude. That's what I'm saying. Oh, come on. Got me robbed, dude. Roll catch. The host died. Insane. Briefly in your world, what's a shit player? It depends on the context. Usually a shit player is the result of a frustrating game. That's all there is to it. Just a result of a poorly designed game with poor balance, poor design, poor mechanics that results in a frustrating experience. But most of the time it has nothing to do with them. You're curious. Oh, it's fingerprint. All right, with a blue. Insane. Dude. That is insane. All right. What are you doing? Ah! What a madman. He does not care. Nice. Hey man, he did what he had to do with the sleep. Gotta respect that. I'm actually curious as to where they are. Never mind, they're not. We're back there. What do we do? Well, there's 3 of them. Could be difficult. Let's do this here. Oops. Oh my god, the random ass charge. We're back to square one. Bro, the host is just gone. I had a chance to kill him there. Oh, he's lagging. Don't do this. What's the most active for Coliseum and Invasions? I think for Coliseum, you're probably looking at meta, but I could be wrong. For Invasions, I think max level, probably. But, I mean, I'm at meta right now, and, you know, I'm finding plenty of activity when I'm invading, so that works. Max level first step is where the real gaming happens. Yeah, there's probably a lot of activity there. Also, by the way, Green, that's probably why you think it's fun. It's probably because you get gankers there, which there's not much of an incentive unless your brain has a deficiency if you're a ganker, you know? And, you know, the people that play at max level fit that mold. Oh my god, the random ass running R2. That was spaced perfectly for running R1. That's it. Oh my god. The shit net. Gonna get me killed. That's unfortunate. Yo, this guy's net is something from another planet. It's actually so shit. Don't want to see your shit net again. Bro, we almost lost that for the wrong reasons, man. You got that community Wi-Fi? Yeah, you got that dorm Wi-Fi. Sometimes people get upset when I block these laggy players like that, and usually those who are upset are the laggy ones. Or like the delusional white knights. I always thought that was weird to get upset from blocking someone who's clearly very laggy. Yeah, Halfie, that's what I think. Like, it's just frustrating. And it's probably best for both of us anyway. Oh, this guy has no health. And these bear claws are so much fun to play with, though. Like, especially with the axe like that. Like, this setup is actually so goated for invasions. Like, it's actually crazy how versatile this whole thing is. Like, you get a good chase down. You get, like, a really good neutral. You get good hyper armor tool. Big damage tool. Like, you get a lot of things from this setup. Very versatile. It's actually very fun to play with, too. Very nice setup. I really like it. Alright, let's see here. What does he have? I think we might want Bulgo. He has Rakshasa, or I don't know if I need Bulgo for that. Oh, box flying. That should not have connected. I was out of that. Yeah. Pretty latent. Would this setup work on low level against over leveled? I mean, you mean the hand axe and the bear claw? It's a versatile setup, but it's not like if you want to put like all the odds in your favor and you're playing against people that are higher level than you, like technically the best way to like kill someone that's much higher level is probably double bleed crusher. Like with double bleed crusher, you can still 3-shot someone who's max level, although to be fair, I don't think you're gonna have access to that at low level. So what's the next best thing? Probably sword lance still. I think sword lance is still probably your best bet in most invasions. This setup is pretty good at low level because the claws will always probably poise break. But if you're fighting people that are over leveled with it, you're not going to be doing nearly as much damage. So I don't think this is like a highlight for like low level. I don't think that's like particular. Oh, nice. We're going to get a 2v2 there. Nice. This guy has that net. And the light roll. The light roll is so stupid, man. Look at that. Wow, dude, this game, like, if you want to see, like, bad game design, you just saw it right there. Like, someone that has zero skills, able to, like, compete purely because this game gives you an ability to infinitely spam dog out of stun. I'm an idiot. I should not have attacked there. Have to be careful to not play too stupid. Just infinite running away, dude. Alright. Oh, and he's lagging too. Amazing. Nice skip. Nice skip again. Why do the people bother to PvP, man? Crazy. I would never enjoy myself if my net was like that. I'd just stick to PvE. At least they weren't ganking. I mean, if you're gonna host a fight club, like, for the love of God, like, pick a decent spot, like, not somewhere where you can just run away forever. Like, that just defeats the whole purpose of the game. Like, it makes the 1v1 as painful as possible. Even in PvE, the lag is annoying to co-op with. Yeah, I agree with you there. Like, I had a fight in Nightreign where... I don't know if I was playing with Hackrish or Cleve, but he had a teammate that was basically, like, clearly from, like, China or somewhere like that. And the dude was, like... He was, like, standing still, like that, and then he would teleport, like, somewhere, and then the boss would take a chunk of damage, and then... You'd see the boss attacking him, like, with him standing still, and then he would teleport somewhere else, and, like, you know... It was like that throughout the whole thing. Like, it made the experience miserable. Like, it felt like the boss got cheesed because this guy kept getting attacked and like, he was aggroing the boss, but was basically standing still, just lagging, not taking any damage. It was just so bad. That's the worst case scenario, though. Very rare you get people that are laggy like that. But yeah, like you said, even for PvE, like, I'd definitely put a limit to, like, you know, if you lose a certain amount of packet, like, please, like, disconnect that man from the server. Like, don't let him back in. You know? Like, that is insane to be lagging like that and not get disconnected. Well, this guy's in trouble. Oh wow, we hit the host, but not the Phantom. Bro, that's the bear claw for you, the retaliation. They thought they had me. But then we pressed L2. Crazy. Dude, this setup is honestly goated, man. I really like it. It's a very fun setup. I'd recommend you guys try it if you want to give this a shot. Very strong setup, very versatile. Probably very annoying to fight against even. But it's definitely fun to invade with. Gives you like nearly all the tools you need for most situation. Would probably be even better if I had my build set up correctly so that, you know, I can do some swaps, because right now like my build is just not made for that setup basically. Just like grabbing a few weapons randomly in the inventory. Just wish your other hand was bare. Yeah, it is a little funny that you lose your gauntlet when you wear it for both hands, but that makes sense. That's like a solution to prevent clipping. Cat Goes Moo, thanks for the Twitch Prime sub, dude. Welcome in, man. Really appreciate the support, dude. Really appreciate that. Thanks a lot. But yeah, man, this setup is for real. Like, it's not like some meme setup. It looks funny. It looks goofy. It looks not serious. But it definitely packs a punch. It's definitely very strong. Not sure I would feel comfortable with that setup against like all the meta, but definitely has a good fighting chance against a lot of things. We had someone that wanted it. Oh, he missed. I think he got aim punched. One thing that's very dangerous with this setup that you need to worry about is like what happened there. Like, this thing bounces off wall like very randomly. Like you saw there, like I attacked the wall, nothing happened, and then I did it again, and then it bounced off and nothing came out. You have to be careful about that. It can be very dangerous if the outcome of your invasion depends on you like landing that attack. You can get robbed of it fairly easily by just a random wall bounce. Sometimes it's not wall bounce, sometimes it's like that, like, you know, just a small rock on the ground. You definitely have to be careful. In terms of DLC weapons randomly bounce, dude, when we tried double milady, like power stance milady, I swear to God, I tried to use that in a tunnel. That shit was impossible to get like one attack off. It constantly bounced off every wall because the weapons are large too. So you couldn't like get one attack off in a corridor. It was kind of funny. Like I was basically forced to switch weapon because there was just no way to get a single attack. Like the only thing you could do was the Ash. The urge to get on Elden Ring is strong. Well, I'm glad you're enjoying the invasions and you feel that way. Also, guys, I think this is gonna be my last one for the day. I have to go after this. Hopefully we get a good last invasion. That's a perfect backstab. And then wake up. That's the... Oh! Insane. The guy DC'd as soon as I backstabbed him. Alright, well, that's gonna be it for me, guys. Insane ending. I wasn't expecting it to end like that, but oh well. Alright, guys. Thank you, everyone, for coming by the stream today. Really appreciate it. Perfect ending. Could not have gone better. This is how all good things must come to an end, by a DC. So hope you enjoyed this nice little setup today. I wasn't planning on using it for the whole stream, but man, it just was doing everything I wanted. Really nice one. All right, guys. Catch you guys up next time. Take care, everyone. Let's raid someone. Also, MD, thank you so much for all the gifted again, man. Really appreciate that. Okay, who's streaming right now? We got Montage is chatting. I think that's it. It's Montage or die. Let's raid homie Montage. All right, see you, fellas.